here in just a couple of minutes, talking about doing vendor events to promote your It Works business and how to really do that effectively. So we're going to get started here in just a few minutes as everybody's hopping on. I'm going to mute out the line for a second while I check with a couple people. So I'll be right back. All right, well, we do see some people hopping on there. Guys, on the side, there is a blue thing that says chat that you can actually type over there if you've got questions or you need to send me a message. If anything's going on or you can't hear me or something like that. That's usually, I think, the best way to do is just click that little blue chat button if you see what I see right now. We're probably going to give it just a couple minutes. So people are hopping on. We're having a few technical difficulties, not too bad. I see the numbers going up, so I see people hopping on. So hey guys, give me just a second. There's a couple other people who are going to be helping me on this event tonight, and so far I'm the only one that's showing up as the host. So I'm trying to resend the invite. So give me just a second. Hey. It's kind of weird because right now all I can see is myself, but I know y'all are on here. So, hey, we're going to get started here probably in about 1 minute. Hey. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. All right, well, there's somebody. Okay, now I learned last time I need to click on my box so it doesn't jump back and forth the entire time among faces. So, all right, learning all the tricks of the trade as we go. So, hello, everybody. My name's Lindsay Stockdale. I'm Presidential Diamond with It Works Global. And tonight we are going to do a team training on how to utilize vendor events to grow your business, because this is definitely the time of year where vendor events are very, very prevalent. I mean, they really are every weekend up until Christmas, and then after that, it immediately shifts gears and goes right into prom and bridal expos, health and wellness fairs, and so on. So really from September to like May, it is bright. I mean, it's Expo Central. You could do as many expos and vendor events as your heart desired. So we just wanted to take some time to go over a few things with you. Let me check something really quick because I'm getting a lot of messages. I think some of the other people are having trouble hopping on, but we're going to go ahead and roll with it. So if they get on, awesome. If not, that's okay. Hopefully we can figure out whatever for next week. So Shannon Eves is joining me tonight. Shannon, would you care to introduce yourself really quick?
Hi, I'm Shannon Eves. I'm a double diamond with It Works Global. I've been with the company for a little over 2 years. Absolutely love it. I love these Google Hangouts because it allows everyone to kind of get together, meet, hear each other's voices, and really get some training no matter where you live. So, hi.
Hi. Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. All right, well, let's start things off with one of the first things that I wrote down was, what is the purpose of a vendor event, and why would you want to utilize those as a tool? And maybe you will, maybe you won't, but it is a tool that you can put in your toolbox to build your business. So the biggest thing about vendor events is you are going to make new contacts at these vendor events. You're going to meet new people, and really the day of, you may sell wraps, you may sell energy, sign loyal customers, sign distributors. Absolutely. I've seen it all. I've done it all at vendor events. I've done a lot of vendor events in the last 3.5 years. When I got started, especially that fall season, like right now, I did something every single weekend from like the beginning of September until Christmas. And then and those were usually like schools and churches, but then I've done really, really, really big expos, like lots of bridal expos. I've even done an expo over in London, a professional beauty expo that had hundreds of thousands of people in London, England, and actually did a 2-day one in Spain as well. So they can be so powerful, but there's really some skills that go along with that and some things we want to touch on. So the purpose is to just build your network, to meet new people, and there's only about 100,000 of us right now who are distributors in 19 countries. So probably if you're in a big city, you might have people that be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, or I've seen that. But I've gone into these pockets of smaller towns and they have no idea who we are. Or they'll be like, I think I've seen something on social media, there's a rap. Like, they don't have any idea who we are, because 100,000 people can only make so much headway and move through so many people, and we're open to about 1 billion people in those 19 countries. So you're a trailblazer. You're getting in there on the ground floor. You're exposing these people to It Works Global, or maybe they've seen a few things on social media, or they've heard of somebody who is a distributor, but they see you're there, and they're ready to become a customer or distributor with you. So first, one of the things that I get a lot is, where do I find them? Where do I find these vendor events? Well, lots of places. So Facebook, for one. A lot of schools and a lot of churches this time of year do these vendor events as fundraisers. So, that's just going to kind of come through your news feed probably as someone is promoting it. And the moment that you see an advertisement for one, you need to call immediately or contact that person immediately, because the spots go really, really fast. So if you see something and you think, well, that sounds like a good idea, but it's 2 months from now, or it's a month from now, don't wait, because the spot will be gone. So be sure that you reach out to those people immediately. Also, radio, if they're a bigger event, you might hear an advertisement on the radio. You may see a billboard. You could even see a TV commercial. So there's lots of ways. The bigger the event, the bigger the media platform, the media advertisement that'll be behind it. But as far as your community-based ones, if you have, if you're part of a networking group, you might find out through there. If you have a community page, something's ringing. I'm not sure what. Okay, it stopped. Okay, something on my computer is ringing. I think someone's calling me or something through the computer. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so a community page, you might be able to find something through there, different things that your community puts on. You could ask on Facebook, hey, does anyone know of any vendor events that are coming up? Let me see if I can mute my computer. I don't know who's trying to call me. But you can just simply ask, make a post on Facebook asking if anybody knows of anything. I know this Friday night I'm doing a ladies' night out event at a local winery. So, think outside the box. Think about boutiques. Think about salons. Think about wineries. I've actually done several wineries. You never know. And I've even done some through the holidays, and you could even think about this. I've even done them at people's homes. So closer, especially November, beginning of December, people, especially if they have several friends in different network marketing businesses, they'll just host something at their own home and invite a few other vendors to come over, have some refreshments, and do like a ladies' night or some, you can name it something clever, and invite people to and through your home to come check that out. So I've done that too, and that's pretty cool. So Shannon, do you have any other tips on that I missed on where to find vendor events? And then Karen, I'll come to you next.
I joined
I think you're muted. I think you're muted. No, you're not muted. I muted you. And go.
Okay, so I found quite a few vendor events. Sorry. I found quite a few vendor events through actual group pages, like through Facebook. So I searched for vendor event pages through there, and then when I see someone promoting a vendor event, I just shoot them a message and ask them if they already have an It Works rep. So that's been my most successful way. Or if I hear anything on the radio, I'm like, boom, I'm going to call them and find out if they have someone for It Works yet.
Absolutely. All right, thank you. Miss Karen, do you care to introduce yourself and tell us can you think of any other places, or how have you found some of your vendor events? I know that you are doing a lot of them lately. Oh, hold on, you are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you are.
Hi guys, I'm Karen Dempsey. I have found a lot of vendor events just through Facebook. We actually hit the jackpot by calling one lady, and she already had 11 scheduled. So we have a bunch all the way up to Christmas, and then just watching flyers in the newspapers is another great way to find events. We actually did one last weekend here in our hometown and was very successful.
Wonderful. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have scratched my neck there. I'm getting a little red. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is what you need to do to prepare for the event. The first thing you want to be sure you do when you call to inquire about a vendor event is you want to ask, is there another It Works Global distributor? Because if there is, then it's a no-go. We have a non-compete agreement, so, think about it. If the event costs $100 and another vendor with It Works Global paid $100 to be there, and then you paid $100 to be there, you all are paying full price, but you're essentially splitting the contacts. So you always want to make sure that there's not another It Works Global distributor there. And I've been there, done that. Things have happened. There's been confusion. If they're bigger events, they usually only have a one company policy. But just in case, in order to save any kind of headache on the back end there, you want to be sure that you ask, okay? And if they say, yes, we already do, say, okay, great, would you care to put my name on your list? And in the future, would you mind to reach out to me if that vendor or if that distributor is no longer doing your event? So it's definitely okay to do that. But just be sure that you ask up front, okay? All right. So how else to prepare? Let me see. Let me grab something really quick off my shelf. And let me turn on my fan because it's hot in here. All right. I shut the window because it's too noisy outside and the air is not on. So, okay. So first, one of the most important things that you want to do at these vendor events is you want to get contact information, because that's how you're going to network and that's how you're going to follow up. So you've got to have the contact information. So there are a couple of different little entry form pads that you can make up, okay, which I don't even know if you can see that or if it's backwards. It looks backwards. Just something that, you know, basically like enter to win, because you're going to do like a free wrap giveaway. So there's several different, those are the only two that I could grab at that moment. But you need to have little entry forms, and you can make them up, you know, create them on a document and then print them out at home, cut them up. There's lots of ways to go about it. Hold on just a second, guys. Sorry. My fan is on over here on like hurricane settings. So, all right. Here we go. And my dog is right behind me, so I can hardly get in and out of my seat. Okay. All right. So make sure that you have some kind of way to capture their information. Just very simple. You really just need their name, their phone number, their email address. And if you want to put something at the bottom that says, like, interested in hosting a wrap party or interested in becoming a distributor to earn extra income, you can do that at the bottom as well. But your goal at these vendor events is to get as many people's contact information as you can, because that's what you're there for. That's what you've paid the money to be there for, is to network, to make connections, to create, to communicate with people, to create maybe some friendships in there, just to strike up, open those lines of communication, all right? So some things that you're going to need for your vendor event. Let me say this, keep it simple, really. You want to have a very nice looking table. And I really think that pretty much every event that I've ever done, our It Works table is one of the nicest looking tables. So when I first got started, I went to like Joann Fabric, maybe, like a fabric store, and I got a really long piece of black cloth. And that's what I use on all my tables. I don't remember the dimensions. I could probably tell you, but I always want to make sure I have enough to cover a 9-foot rectangular table. So it might be like, I don't know, 12 feet or maybe 15, so it overhangs. And I've used that same piece of cloth now for 3 years, 3 years. And then also I got a piece of fabric to put like in the center originally, like just some color. So like a lime green fabric. I know that Melissa Roby, she's a triple diamond on our team. She has this really pretty black and white honeycomb pattern that just pops and really draws attention to the table. So again, just go get you a nice piece of fabric, nothing super expensive, just something that really draws attention to the table. And then I like to use empty boxes, like when my orders come in from It Works, I save the boxes that are in good shape, and I just use those. So I'll stack those up on the middle of the table. Then I put my green or whatever color cloth. Sorry, there's like a weird reflection. Sorry. I put the cloth over them in the middle, and then I use that to stack product on. And you don't need to take every product, okay? It's really more beneficial. Less is more, because if your table looks too cluttered, it's just too much and people don't even know what to do. So I usually, I know what I've done one time is, those like silver platters you can get like to put on your dinner table, especially around the holidays. People will do that to kind of dress up their place settings. Those are really good. If you get like a silver platter, like I'm trying to hold my hands up so you can see, like that's really helpful. But like the silver round platters, and we would use that, and we would highlight, you know, the facials, the cleanser, the lip and eye, and the peel. You know, like just enough, the things that would sit on the pretty little tray. And then same for the body, like a box of the body wraps. You can use an empty one, of course, a defining gel bottle, and the fab wrap. I've even used like little diamond rhinestone thingies and sprinkled those on the table. You really have to just gauge the event that you're doing. I know a lot, especially there's one in particular, a bridal expo that I do with Kentucky Bride Magazine, and it's a very high-end expo. So that one I was telling you about, Melissa Roby, with that black and white honeycomb pattern, we use that. We even use little lanterns with like the ones that hold candles on the ends. We had I think like a black and white zebra rug that went in front of our table. So gauge your audience and your event. If you're doing like some kind of like fall corn maze vendor event, like don't be bringing out your candelabras and your things like that. You get me. Get a feel for your event. And especially if you're doing them right now, putting candy on your table because we're going into Halloween, that's, you know, that's always a good idea. So going back to just keeping it simple. If you're doing like a health and wellness expo, well, you're probably going to want to make sure you've got like more of the supplements there, and you're highlighting the energy and the ProFit shake. So just use good judgment on what your audience is going to be and what you're there for. Always have a dry body wrap and a dry face wrap laying out on your table, and then some before and afters. Or take like your iPad and just have a slideshow going on of before and afters. So, you know, and two, I've seen people that they use like the mannequins, like from the waist up mannequins on the table. Great idea. That definitely gets attention. The It Works banner, yes, they are more costly, but they're very good quality, and that's something that if you're in an area with several team members, then go in and split the cost so you have a nice banner to use at the events. All right, Shannon, let me start with you first. Can you think of anything as far as how to prepare for the events, what to take, advice on the table, and then Karen, I'll come to you.
I really like to sample the greens. So I usually have, you know, either like a large, you know, jug of juice that you can just continually like shake up, or you got to think about how you're going to get that stirred up, because you don't want just greens sitting on the bottom, and that's just weird. So I like to sample the greens. We have little sample cups. I usually take like a little green tin, like one of those cute little wash bucket tins, and fill it full of ice, and I put the greens in there and maybe a couple cans of energy and sample those at the vendor.
Okay.
Yep, that would be.
What? Go ahead.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss Karen. Any other tips or advice on the preparation, what to have, how to set up kind of thing, what they need for their table? What have you been doing that's working?
Make sure you keep it simple, like you said. Less is better. Make sure you do have a sign. You know, if you can't afford the big fancy sign and you don't have anybody to go in with you, even if you go and just get the foam board, like the black foam board, and use the nicer letters. We do have 2 signs that we use if it's like real windy and we can't use our big banner and it's outside, that just says, ask us how $99 changes your life, with pictures of the business. Or another one that we have is wrap for $25, or you can buy a wrap for $25. So, you know, simple is better. And then just make sure, you know, that, like Lindsay said, getting their information is so important. So even if you put in like for a free wrap, we've been getting a lot of contacts that way. And then after they leave the table, if you have a little downtime, we might just pull those out and just put on the back to what they were interested in at that time. So when we go back to contact them, we know what they were interested in.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. So then, okay, so during the event, sorry, I just got a text from my husband, and I've got to keep an eye on my phone here. All All right, so during the event, the important thing, several things. A, don't sit down behind the table because you're not going to get much interaction. You paid money, you're there, you've got to work the event to make it worth your time. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed in your outcome. So make sure that you are standing in front of the table. And what I like to have, I always have, my vendor, sometimes, especially if they're loose pieces of paper, I'll have a clipboard. I will have these contact forms there. I will have some of my Blitz cards and then a couple product pamphlets. And I'll have my clipboard ready, and I'll have a couple pens in my hand. And so, of course, we're going to give away some free body or face wrap. So you're going to stand in front of the table, and you're going to go up to people and say, hey, would you like to register for a free body or face wrap? And then I just kind of hand it to them. They start filling it out. I let them get started. And then I just gently say, well, are you familiar with It Works Global? Because most people have no idea what they're signing up for. They're like heard of, facials, and they've heard of body wraps at spas, so they're not even sure what they're signing up for. And so then I'll just gently ease in with, well, are you familiar with It Works? And they'll say, well, I don't know, or yeah, or no. Okay, well, this is what we're most known for, and I also like to keep a dry body wrap, especially if it's a big event, like in my back pocket or on me, because I reference it often. And I'll just say, well, this is our body wrap. This is what it looks like. This is what it does. And you could show them a before and after picture, your own, someone you wrap on your cell phone, or if you've got them laying on the table. And then just say, well, you will get to choose whether you want a body or a face wrap if you're selected as our winner. And I always say, well, did you get one of our coupon cards? And they'll say, oh, no, I didn't. Okay, well, hold on. And then I want to make sure they get one of our Blitz cards to go. So they've got our contact information, and we've got theirs. Now, if they go into more questions, especially if they see at the bottom something about a wrap party, wrapping for free, and they're interested, I'll go ahead and book the party right then and there. If they're interested in a wrap party, I'll say, well, actually, you're going to get to wrap for free. Just have 4 or 5 guests that come and wrap. Their cost is $25 each. And I go ahead and have my phone calendar, and I'll just say, would you like a weeknight or a weekend? And then I look and I give them a couple more dates, and we get that booked. And I immediately find them on Facebook and send them a friend request and let them know that I'll be in touch later that day with their invites and the few details about the party. So if they're interested right then, go for it. Otherwise, if they kind of were talking about it or they showed interest in some of the other products, just be sure, kind of like Karen said, jot down a little note on the back of the form they fill out, just so you have a memory jogger. Because if you're at an event and you walk away with 100 or 200 contacts, you're not going to remember who was what. So you need to make yourself some notes along the way. All right, Shannon and Karen, any tips at all about striking up the conversation, getting the entry forms from people, just creating that communication, not vomiting on them, making them feel calm and welcome? Can you all talk a little bit about that? And Karen, do you care to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Depending on who comes up to the table, if it's a elderly couple, then I might ask them if they've heard of It Works, and then if they say no, then I would say, have you ever heard of greens? And I kind of tell them what greens are about, and then we usually try giving them a sample. It depends on who comes up to the table. If it's a lady that maybe has had children, we might strike it up by, have you heard of the Crazy Wrap, and show them kind of what the wrap is all about. So I think it really depends on who the person is, but definitely make sure that you do have samples of the greens and the energy for them to try. Saturday we did a vendor event here in our hometown, and we signed up 4 loyals basically off of the triple threat and 1 off of just the greens. And I think the greens are so important at these events because anybody from young ages all the way up, the greens are for. I would love to have my whole family on the greens. I can't tell you how much it has helped just my family here, my kids and my husband and I. So that's definitely something that you need to do, but like she said, don't puke on them either. Just start very gentle with them and, just kind of build on what they ask.
Absolutely. Thank you. Shannon?
My biggest thing is you have to be excited. If you're not excited, they're not going to be excited, and why are they going to want to come to your booth? So it doesn't matter to me, even if it's a slow vendor event where maybe you don't have like crowds of people running through there like, stampeding horses. Those are the ones that you can really take the time with, the individual, but you have to be excited. So whether or not there's 5 people in the building or 500, I'm going to be the exact same way. I'm not going to be a negative Nelly. I'm not going to get down in the dumps because I don't have 500 people standing at my table wanting to register for a free wrap. I'm going to be excited for each one that comes through, and I'm going to be thankful for each single person that came through and registered for that wrap, because you never know who that one person is that could totally change your business. Absolutely don't throw up on people. I kind of have a script that I pretty much say to every single person. Pam Souter always says lead with the wrap, so that's what I lead with. And then I kind of go into the other things. But yeah, just getting their info and getting that coupon in their hand. And I just act like, oh, hey, did you get over here and fill out for your free wrap? Everyone's signing up. I'd say everyone's signing up. Like, well, they want to be everyone, right? So I just make it like that's just normal. You came in here just to sign up with me. You're going to purchase with me. And I think, too, don't be desperate. We're not desperate for a sale. When I go in and pay my booth rent, I never expect to, I don't expect to go in there and recuperate that immediately. My main goal is to get the contacts. So I've had people that were very desperate to sell wraps to earn their booth rent back, and it came across as very desperate and needy, and people were running from the table. So learn from that experience. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and one of the things I like to do, I just kind of like to go into those events and set my intention that the people who crossed paths with me that day were supposed to. And like Shannon said, whether you have 1 or 1,000 people at your table, you need to be calm and confident and just genuinely happy that they're there, and just know that they were meant to be there. And so you want to just take a breath and not talk too fast, not tell them too much. Just simply ask a couple questions, because think about it, at a vendor event, they've got lots of other things to look at. You're looking at like a 60-second to as much as a 5-minute window with that person, and that's it. So you're not there to tell them the whole story of It Works Global, okay? You're just there to really see how, if they have a need for something that we have. And so you have to be very purposeful about what you ask and what you do. The biggest thing being getting their contact information for the free wrap. And then, of course, like Karen said, you start talking about the greens, or maybe you're selling or you're sampling the energy that day. Make notes so that you can follow up purposefully. And so I'm going to tell you that those vendor events, if you do them right, you're going to be exhausted at the end. Your feet are going to hurt. You're going to be exhausted. And you will have said the same thing over and over and over and over, to the point where sometimes you're like, did I already say that to them? Oh, my gosh, what did I say to them? And that's normal. That means you're doing something right. So Shannon's laughing, but she knows. And I'm sure Karen is too. So just know that, yeah, you probably will sell wraps, and honestly, I find it very beneficial to do just $20 wraps, because it's a show special. It's a special price, and it's easier for someone to pull out a 20 than it is like a 20 and a 5, or you're trying to make change. Be sure that you do have change that day. You go prepared with cash, and you have something like Square.com, like the thing that goes on your phone that you can take credit card payments. PayPal offers one. Make sure you're ready to have those transactions that day with people. Okay, I'm trying to think what else. I had another thought, and it kind of jumped out of my head. Okay, so this is kind of where I was going. So that day, you may sell wraps, you may not. All right, probably you will, but you might not. It depends, okay, on the event and the crowd, different things. And you may sign loyal customers. We've all done that. You may sign distributors that day. We've all done that. And you may book parties and get them on your calendar right then and there. We've done that. But really, the rest of your work, really the bulk of your work starts when that event is over. Okay, so let's talk about some things that you're going to want to do. Let me say one more thing. Let me back up one more thing about during the event. Everybody's eyes are on you, whether you realize it or not. Even the other vendors. I can't tell you how many events that I've done that afterward the other vendors would come up and say, gosh, your all booth was really busy. Like, what is it y'all do? You are being watched at all times. So that's one of the things I think Shannon was saying, like, you better have a smile on your face. You better have a good attitude that day. You better be positive, Polly, because you got a lot of eyes on you, whether you know it or not. You are an independent distributor with It Works, so you are marketing yourself and you are marketing your business. And so if you're like, if someone comes up to you, I've seen this at events before, not at our table, but I've seen it, where someone has walked up to a table and has spoken with the vendor, and then they walked away and the vendor started like cutting their eyes or talking about them. They didn't know I saw it, but I did. That did not leave a very good impression with me about that company or that business. So all eyes are on you at all times, so make sure you are professional to the nth degree. Okay? All right, so then what to do after? Well, make sure that you have someone take a picture of you and with whoever's with you and your table, okay? Because the first thing that I like to do is I like to take, because once we have sorted out the contacts, we've distributed those out to each of the distributors who helped with the event, I like to use Red Stamp Cards, which is a free app, and I like to take that picture of us and the table, and I like to put it in there and then do like a little thing like, you know, it was a pleasure to meet you at the such and such event. Thank you for stopping by our table. We will be drawing our winner soon. Stay tuned. Because the first thing they get immediately is a hello, a thank you, and just a reminder that we'll be in touch for whoever the winners are, okay? So I have found that to be very, very helpful. I have gotten text messages from people months and months after an event because they had my contact information in there where I sent the picture. So they remembered who I was. So I have found that to work really, really well. Okay, I do that first. After that, make sure you draw your winner. So usually each distributor will draw their own, their own wrap winner. Or you might decide, given the size of the event, you might each do 2 winners. So draw your winner first. Contact them and schedule a one-on-one. If they live locally and you can get to them, book a one-on-one with them, go wrap them or go and teach them how to wrap themselves and go through the products. It's a one-on-one, okay? Usually what I like to do is encourage them to host a wrap party, and they'll get that wrap for free plus another wrap whenever they have 4 or 5 guests who come and each buy a wrap for $25. So I do like to encourage that. Just because it obviously helps me network and meet some of their friends, and it's also an opportunity for them to earn another wrap. Okay, so then after that, I kind of have like a 3-step follow-up. Everybody, in my opinion, if someone came up to the table, then they're going to get something. And so personally what I like to do is I like everybody to be a runner-up winner. Because they've come up, I've had a conversation with them, they had interest because they came up. So I have a text that I will send out to each person, and I like to start out this texting, and I don't call, I text, because people don't answer numbers that they don't know. So texting is really more valuable in this day and time. When I first got started, we called everybody, but now texting seems to work a little bit better. So let's say I have a sheet, I have an entry form, and the person's name on here and phone number. I'm going to text that person. I'm going to say, hi, is this Sally? And then I wait for the response because I want to make sure I have the right person. And then after they say, oh, yeah, who is this? Like, what's going on? I'll just say, oh, hi, my name is Lindsay. I met you at the such and such event. I was the distributor with It Works Global and the body wraps. You entered our free giveaway. I want to make sure immediately that I jog their memory, who I am, where I met them, and what they signed up for. And then I let them know that they were selected as a runner-up winner, and then you can decide how you want to proceed from there. We've got some great texts already put together. Just ask your upline diamond or send me an inbox message. I already have that. That's a great follow-up message to let them know as a runner-up winner what they have access to. Okay, so I do that first. Then usually the time frame, and let me say this, I want to make sure that I send all of those text messages with the picture, you know, the one that says, hi, thanks so much for stopping by. I want to make sure that all of those have been texted out within the first 48 hours. Then make sure that within that next 48 hours, you've gone back through all of them, and of course you've personally gotten a hold of your rack winner, but then everybody else, you have messaged that they were selected as a runner-up winner, and you can choose what that is. You don't have to do that. I've done a lot of different things over the years. One of the things that I found didn't work was when I said, hi, you didn't win, but do you want to? So, you know, whether I give them a discount on the wraps, or there's lots of options that we can work with. I just want them to have some kind of value out of coming up to the table, and maybe that'll encourage them to want to learn more. Okay, so contact your upline diamond or send me a message if you need a script. So make sure within like those first 4 days, they've gotten their thanks for stopping by, and they've gotten their text that says you were selected as a runner-up winner, blah, 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 blah. This is what you have to choose from. Looking forward to hearing back from you, okay? And then what I like to do is at the bottom of that, I like to put a deadline. Like, I need to hear back from you, or you need to redeem this gift by such and such date, okay? Let's say it's the beginning of the month and you want the date to be the end of the month. Okay, well then through retext everyone and say, hey, you know, I just hadn't heard from you yet. I wanted to be sure that you knew you were selected as a runner-up winner. Would you be, you know, this means you have blah, 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 and really just copy and paste that same message. If you don't hear from them after that, that's okay. Like, don't panic. You're starting a journey. They may be busy. You don't know what's going on in their life. It might have been a bridal expo, and they're thinking, well, gosh, my wedding's not for 6 months. Like, you know, they're interested, but they're not interested today. So they don't know what to say, so they don't say anything, okay? So you've got that first 4 days taken care of. You got a week out. You're going to message, follow back up. And then let's say it's about 2 to 3 days before that deadline, that date that you gave them, okay? And you might even give a 2-month window in there. That's okay. You can decide that. But a couple days before the deadline, message them all again with a reminder, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you. I never heard from you. You were selected as a runner-up winner. These were the things that were available to you. The deadline for this gift ends in 2 days or in a day or whatever. And I just wanted to make sure, you know, I wanted to see if you're interested. And so that's just a follow-up. So you see there's several follow-ups because you don't know what's going on with people. And they're nothing pushy, but it's your job to follow up. Fortune is in the follow-up, and if you don't do it, you've just totally wasted your time and your money. After that, because you do want to collect their email address, they go on an email list and just send them an email once a month and highlight a new product. So if you're using Gmail, just create a folder with vendor event contacts, and once a month send out an email, because in Gmail you can upload a picture into the body of the email. It's like an email picture, and then just highlight a different product each month. We have getting ready to be 27 products, I think. So you have enough material for 2 years to email them. And then, of course, you can highlight the loyal customer program. You know, maybe you want to talk about being a distributor, especially when the company's offering the good bonuses or the $500 Ruby bonus. So I think you get me. With the vendor events, the day of is just like you're scratching the surface of the work that is to be done, okay? The rest comes in the follow-up. You start creating that relationship, and it's a journey. So you have to be able to see past the hand in front of your face. You can't feel frustrated or like whatever because you thought you were going to sell 4,000 wraps the day of the vendor event. You didn't. you've missed the point. The point is you were there to network, to meet new people, to get new contacts, and to start to form a relationship. I also like to go through Facebook, because in the Facebook search bar you can type in phone numbers and you can type in email addresses to look for people. So I like to go through, see if they have a Facebook account, and simply send them a friend request. And when they accept, I send them an inbox and just say, hey, thanks so much for the social media love. I appreciate you accepting my friend request. If you don't remember, my name is Lindsay. I met you at the such and such event, and I'd love to stay connected with you on here. I'm with It Works Global. You know, make that sound better because that was awkward, but you get me. Okay, so you just have to know it's a journey, it's a process. This is a business. This isn't something that happens overnight, but it can be a very rewarding one, especially when 6 months later, out of nowhere, you get, you know, somebody that wants to be a loyal customer because their wedding's coming up, and it's totally out of your mind because that was 6 months earlier. So just know that if you take the time to be very purposeful with this and really write out a checklist of follow-up, and you will be faithful to that, you will have incredible results. So Shannon, do you care to touch on that as far as, you know, after what you do, the follow-ups, that kind of thing? Oh, sorry, one sec. Let me.
Sure.
Okay.
I think the best piece of advice I got was from Lindsay Stockdale on actually how to book the appointment. So when someone tells you, like, oh, hey, yeah, I'd love to have a wrap party, well, the first thing I would say was, oh my gosh, great, when? And then they would kind of give me like the deer in a headlight look, like, and then they'll give you this answer, you know, I'm going to have to check my schedule, so let me get back to you. Okay, and then what happens? They never get back to you. So the best piece of advice I got was when they say they want to book a party, I say, great, does a weekend or a weeknight work better for you? And then whatever they tell me, then I go from there. So if they said weeknight, then I'm going to say, great, I've got next Tuesday or next Thursday open. You're going to help them book this party, because when you just ask someone, when can you do it, we all get the same response, like, oh, God, 1,000 things flash through your mind, and you feel like you're too busy then. So literally, you're just going to walk them through the booking process, and you're going to help them select that date. Oh, don't close your booth early. Don't close your booth early. Wait. A lot of times if you close up early, you'll never be invited back to that vendor. They will, like, permanently remove you from the list. And you never know who's coming in. You know, if that's open till 5 o'clock and someone walks in at 4:55 and you're closing up, well, they're going to think you're not open for business. Hang on.
We have a small crisis with a little one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shift gears to Karen. Oh, wait, hold on. There she is. I wasn't sure what was happening.
We have some pow-pows going on in the hallway out there.
Oh, okay.
We're fighting. Okay. Don't close early. And when you were talking about how to get vendor events, I forgot something that I think is really wonderful. A lot of times when I've had slower vendor events, because I've done them from all spectrums, the little high school gym ones to the big bridal events and everything in between. So some of the slow ones, I networked with the other vendors there. And especially ones that we don't have competing products, like these little boutique people who they make their living doing vendor events. Okay, those are wonderful people to build a relationship with, because they know when all the vendors are. They know when those events are. So I have quite a few ladies that we just have a really nice relationship, and when they hear of a vendor event, who do they call first? They call me. When I hear of one, I call them. So it's nice to have someone, you know, more sets of eyes out there and ears to kind of help you find them, and especially those people that their living is based on vendor events, they are going to give you the hookup. Like some of them have email lists that they will add you to for vendor events. So that's my tip.
That's awesome. Thank you. And just another thing, too, like I was saying earlier, make sure that you mind your P's and Q's. Like, I don't even ever understand what that means. But anyway, you are there and people are watching you, so you don't want to look like a total buffoon or something stupid. Make sure you're professional, bottom line. Because, yeah, it's the relationships that, I mean, I know because I see some of the same people at vendor events over and over and over, and I love it when they inbox me and say, hey, did you know about this one? I'm like, oh, my gosh, thank you so much. So, yeah, just forming bonds with the other vendors is huge. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Karen? Miss KK?
Hi. I just wanted to kind of touch base with what Shannon said. Make friends with those people, but also, if it's a group that you've not been with, go and help them people too. If you see someone struggling getting stuff on their table or something, and because it doesn't take us long to set up our stuff, just give them a helping hand. That will help so tremendously, and just make them know that you are a genuine, nice person. And then they come back, and they're like, oh, well, what are you all selling? And we can strike up a conversation that way too. But also, I forgot to say earlier too. I mean, I know this is pretty much surely everyone has it now, but make sure that you have the app on your phone so you can sign up people right there.
Yeah.
Because the place where you're at may not have Wi-Fi or your computer may act crazy. Make sure that you have that app on your phone because it is so easy just to sign that person up in like 2 seconds. So that's about all I have.
Absolutely. All righty. Thank you, hon. All right, guys. Well, that's all that's coming to mind. If you've got other questions and you need any more help, reach out to your Upline Diamond. Shoot me an inbox message. I'll be happy to help you. Like I said, vendor events can be a really powerful tool. And let me say this. Any vendor event that you have the opportunity to get your hands on, get your hands on it, because usually what they'll do is next year they call you to give you dibs on it. And maybe you can't do it next year, but you pass it down to someone in your team who can. So never pass up an event. And I know that on our team, because we have an incredible team, and it is one team, one mission, I've even had people say, hey, I can't do this, and nobody on my team can, but hey, there's this vendor event going on. Would anybody else want it? That's awesome, guys. So thanks so much for just being cool human beings and doing that too. But when you can get your hands on a vendor event, do. Because usually you're locked in there for next year, which is great. All right, well, that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks so much for hopping on. This has been recorded. It will be on my YouTube channel, so you can share it with your teams. And I think it's actually probably streaming now, so it should be ready immediately. Thanks so much, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Karen.